Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for The Bye-Bye Man. So The Bye-Bye Man is a new January horror film by STX, and it stars really no one of note, and it revolves around the Bye-Bye Man. He's this evil demon-like creature that the more you say his name and the more you think his name, the more he starts to grow on you, and more he starts to invade your mind, he gives you bad thoughts, etc., etc. So The Bye-Bye Man is not a movie I was excited for. The trailer looked absolutely awful, it was being released in January, so why should it be good in any way, shape, or form? Reviews started to come out saying it was atrocious, and I agree. This film is absolutely terrible. Do not see The Bye-Bye Man. Even if you are a horror fan, even if you like to see all movies, do not see The Bye-Bye Man, because this is one of the worst films that is going. It's one of the worst films I've seen probably in the past year. In the past 365 days, this would probably be towards the bottom 10. This film is absolutely atrocious. I mean, just starting right off, this film is not scary. Horror films should be scary. That is what they should be. They are called horror films. And the main issue with this movie is that the main scare seems like nothing in scenes where it doesn't matter. There's a scene where a character goes to a library and he says "The Bye-Bye Man" multiple times and barely anything happens. He says it over and over and over again, and then things only start happening when he actually starts seeing it written down on page because he's thinking about it more, so that's when it starts affecting him. Stupid things like that, where it's just characters that will say the Bye-Bye Man 15 times, nothing happens, and then they'll think about him briefly, and boom, he's right there. Absolutely annoying, and one of my biggest pet peeves with this movie. Another reason it's not scary is because this movie relies practically only on jump scares. This could have been a really scary movie if it went more psychological, and it did at one point, and that was probably the scariest part of the movie, because it actually went psychological. It wasn't well done, and it wasn't good, but they actually tried at something different, but most of the time in this film, they go purely for jump scares. And also, the acting in this movie is Razzie-worthy. It's absolutely atrocious. It's annoying. Characters will say things that sound so moronic coming out of their mouths. And to compensate with that is atrocious dialogue. I mean, I wrote down, there's one piece of dialogue that pissed me off very, very much, so I decided to write it down. And it reads, "All the dishes in here are white," which is read by a man who is African American. Why should that be funny? It is not. It is not funny. It is not quirky. It is so unsubtle and blatant in your face, and it feels so awkward and just out of the ordinary. It's a scene between two characters that are talking, and then it cuts to him immediately, and he's like, "Yo, all these dishes are white." It's not funny. It's extremely racist, and it just sort of comes there right away, and that's just an example of how truly awful this dialogue was. I do have to say that this film may have been better if it was rated R, because the movie starts right off and it already feels sort of awkward. They try with this one shot of a man going up to somebody and then taking his gun out, and that was just so abrupt and random, and then you realize that he is murdering his family, and the movie's rated PG-13? This is a heavy topic, with a man having to murder his family and then murder himself so that he doesn't hurt anyone else. And suddenly that's PG-13, and characters go through the same thing, and not only that, there's such weird editing where a character is shot and then it cuts away from them and then it cuts back and they're lying on the ground and it seems like nothing bad has happened to them. They're just dead, lying on the ground. And it was clearly intended to be rated R, and it wasn't, which really bogged down the film and took me out. And of course, with every horror film, there are characters that make stupid decisions. Like going to a library and talking to a librarian who basically was exposition in the human form, and talking about the Bye-Bye Man, and talking directly to her saying, "The Bye-Bye Man," and then she says it, and the guy's like, oh, that's not good. Well, oh well. Oh yeah, brush it off. You just innocently murdered someone that didn't need to be. You could have just said, "Hey, go away. Trust me, it's for your better good." But instead, you don't do that. You just tell them about the Bye-Bye Man. You tell them what you've been going through, and then, of course, they go through bad things. Or like a little girl going to a party where they are playing beer pong. That is not feasible. This is a college party, and his dad or something, or his uncle is there, which doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't invite your uncle to a college party. And also a little girl who is only there to go upstairs and find something out. That's all she's there to do, and it's so annoying. Also, this film is extremely boring and cliche. Part of the reason it's so boring is because of lack of conflict. No, I'm not saying that because the first 45 minutes isn't pure horror that there's no conflict and that's why it's boring. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's that they don't do anything with that time. They could have developed the characters. They could have given them interesting backstories. They could have done something else than just aimlessly go around and do absolutely nothing. Also, it's cliche to the brim. Every single scene is full of cliches. Just a certain character being angry at a certain character for a certain thing that doesn't make any reasonable sense, but it's just there because it's a cliche. Also, the CGI in this film is atrocious. The Bye Bye Man looks really fake. It's just this terrible CGI. It looks completely awful, and he doesn't look like a human at all. He looks like something out of a cheap student-made film. But worst of all was the dog, who completely looked out of the ordinary. There's a scene where he goes up to someone and he's supposedly eating their flesh, and he looks so out of the ordinary. He looks like CGI that you'd find on a low-budget YouTube video. That's how bad it looked. Another reason the film isn't scary is because the characters aren't scared at all. They say the Bye Bye Man and they think about him constantly, and you aren't scared of him because it's just basically them saying it, and it has no effect. It starts to get closer to them, but it's done like that. It's just like, oh, if you say it 20 times, boom, he's right there and he's gonna kill you. That's basically what they're saying. They also have a terribly incorporated score, especially in a certain train scene that you saw in the trailer, where a girl is running after a group of people that she thinks are there, but really they aren't, so she's, there's a train coming straight for her, and the score sounds like it's from an action movie, and it was completely laughable. However, not as laughable as the next scene I'm about to talk about. There's a certain scene where a character is driving from one point to another. He just learned something terrible and he's going to one place, and it's got a super dark, serious tone. It's supposed to be really emotional, doesn't work. Okay, but it was this particular scene that really confirmed for me that the Bye Bye Man was atrocious. It was a scene where he was in the car, suddenly looking depressed as all heck, singing a song with the lyrics, "The Bye Bye Man." Why would you sing a song like that? Why would you do that? You are going to die because you're constantly thinking about him and saying his name. And you're singing a song that has bye-bye in it. Not only is it completely out of the ordinary and thrown in there, it's completely obnoxious. It's abrupt. It's awful. It's one of the worst scenes that I've seen all year. And if they would have gotten a better editor that would have just edited that stupid cutout right there, maybe this film would be slightly redeemable. No, it wouldn't be redeemable because this film is not scary. It is not. The Bye Bye Man is absolutely awful. Do not see it. The ending just drags on and on and on. It supposedly ends once, which is just terrible, and then it goes into another ending. The Bye Bye Man is an awful start to 2017. I did not see Underworld Blood Wars, so this is the first film from 2017 that was released theatrically in 2017 that I've seen, and so far we are off to an awful year. I give The Bye Bye Man a 2 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for The Bye Bye Man. What did you think of this film? Comment in the comment section below. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.